Listen, bases loaded, bottom of the ninth. Shout out to Italian culture as a whole. I think it's because the Italian culture, I don't really play with disrespect. Shout out to Mexico as a whole. People can say what they want to say about the cartel, but the cartel is not going to hit random people that did not disrespect them. And I'm going to say this again. The cartel, listen, only God could judge us. And I'm going to say this again. Only God could judge us. But one thing about the Mexican cartel, they're not going to mess with you if you don't mess with them. The Italian mob, they protect women, children, even though they did what they did. They're not going to mess with you if you don't mess with them. So with that being said, my dad, this happened in 2020. I'm focused. I'm locked in. This is where I should have blocked them then. But I want to tell you guys about family members. If you don't really cut ties now, as far as my brother, I will always leave that line of communication open because that's my brother. If my brother ever want to call and apologize and be like, man, I was tripping, I will always leave that line of communication open. But other than Merry Christmas and Happy Birthday and, things like that, he doesn't even have an iPhone. So I think he has an iPhone. I don't know, but I'll probably just happy birthday, in and out, stay blessed, because there's no hard feelings. Me blocking my dad is no hard feelings. When I was growing up, we always used the phrase, no hard feelings. And I think we need to bring this phrase back in the year 2025. And I want to share. See, the cool thing about generational runs is we can share information. Younger men is sharing informations of Uruses and Porsche GTRS 3s. I never even heard of a Porsche GTRS 3. So with that being said, shout out to Brett Scales and all these young men that are buying $500,000 cars, Porsche GTRS 3s. Let it breathe. And for my generation, I can come with wisdom and I can talk about no hard feelings. Now, my dad in 2020, this is my first time moving in the suburbs. I'm locked in. I'm focused. I'm getting no congratulations on YouTube. People calling me, oh, you're a hater of red pill content creators because you're telling men don't chase women, don't have sex. They've been attacking me for 5 years on the same message, and I stood tall for 5 years. Now, with that being said, it's only so much you can take. And as humans, they're naturally evil. So when they see people keep taking abuse, everybody's like, oh, let me come in, get my licks in. Let me come in, get my licks in. Humans are evil. You guys think humans are cool because they wear Gucci? You think humans are cool because they drive Rolls Royces? No, humans without God are naturally evil. That's why Jesus had it down the cross for us. So my dad calls my phone. Now, his son, which is not my stepbrother, I don't play stepbrother, stepsister games. That's why I blocked my dad. Now, shout out to his son that he had, and his mother died. So maybe that's the only reason that he actually accepted him. Who knows? If his mother ain't died, my dad probably would be like, ladies, I got enough resources. Take care of that. I'm out of here. Now, he probably loved him more because his mother died, and it's probably more of a connection. But either or, my dad, not only did he pay for his sins, he is 70 plus, still paying my mom over a couple bands. So he's still paying for his sins. So I know why my dad is mad at me, because he had to pay almost his whole life for procreating. A lot of people don't want to talk about it, but you can't really love your child if you got to pay child support. When I talk about real topics, real issues, people don't want to feel me, but at the end of the day, they don't have to. They were not the product of a broken family. And a lot of people don't want to talk about this to protect their parents, but you can't protect a man that is bitter. My dad is bitter, and he doesn't want to get better, so he's bitter. So 2020, my dad never was there outside of finances, but there's more to life than money. Some people don't want to believe that. They feel like, oh, you're privileged, your dad is a sergeant major. At the end of the day, it gets higher. Shout out to my guy. I'm going to call him out. One of my guys growing up. Shout out to my man, Brandon Beverly. You feel me? Brandon Beverly. Yeah, his dad was an officer. So every time we went to his dad's house, I saw what real rank looked like. I would never tell my dad that. You know what I mean? Because like I said, no hard feelings. But my dad had a high enough rank. E8, but like I said, it gets higher. It gets higher. So long story short, he calls me in 2020. He says, why you don't have any kids? This is how the conversation started. This was the 1-2 jab, set up, uppercut. I'm like, because I want to be a millionaire. Told him straight up, my dad is not thinking about being a millionaire, so he's bitter because he heard, I want to be a millionaire, that's why I don't want to have kids. So he's bitter. So he's like, what are you, GAY? He grew up in Grove Mutual Homes. He's from St. Croix. No, he's from St. Kitts, grew up in St. Croix. He knows in the Caribbean, that is worthy of death. And I'm gonna say this again, in the Caribbean, if you call a man a Batiban, Ras Class, pussy hole, whatever you call him, that is worthy of death. He knows better. So if anybody knows, he understands the assignment. And an African American, it's an agenda. So they don't know any better. Not justifying them, but if somebody knows better, it will be my dad, because he's actually from he's blessed. He's from St. Kitts and got a chance to go to, the islands. So when it's all said and done, the military did something to my dad. It made him feel that he was really a part of the middle class. And I'm here to tell you, the middle class people are some of the most nastiest. Now, you have them everywhere. You have people living by the trash can that got a lot to say. I done had people living with their parents told me I have no emotion. Yeah, talk about a slap in the face. You can't even get any get back. Dude's at home with his mom. You can't send missiles to a dude's mother house. So with that being said, my cup runneth over. People with millions can be rude, but you don't really see them because they're in the hills. But who's to say they're not rude in the hills? The only millionaires and billionaires I really see having fun is in Aspen, Colorado, and Monaco. I'm going to be real. But some people in Miami, they probably uptight. That's why I really love Aspen and Monaco, because it's more of a celebration as opposed to separation. Because nobody can be there unless you're all the way up. See, in Miami, you can have people getting kicked out of clubs because they're too curvy. You're not going to have that problem in Aspen. You're going to see nothing but supermodels and men with gray hair with supermodels. Same with Monaco. You're going to see a 70-year-old man with a 28-year-old supermodel. Beautiful views, literally beautiful views. The level of entry is a little bit, up there. It starts at 4M. I'm giving you the entry level. Most content creators will not give you the entry level. But if you got 4 million, you can get in Aspen and you can get in Monaco. Now, with that being said, listen, DDG really exposed that you could make 12 million in a month of social media. So DDG could live in Aspen. That's for an example. So content creators, we can live in Aspen, we can live in Monaco. So why not just lock in? But my dad in 2020 asked me if I was GAY because I'm not procreating. So this is what these fathers want to do. It's my dad, but he wants me to fail on purpose so he could be the best, the light of the family. That's how petty that is. You feel me? So my main thing is I don't got time for petty people. Like, I just started YouTube 2020. And then you're going to ask me if I'm GAY because your other son procreated, but he's having problems. He can't even control his woman. So his woman left him. And now who knows if he's on child support. Just like, do you see the generational cycle? That's what I'm telling you guys. You got to break the generational curse. I don't have stepbrothers. If we don't have the same mom, if we don't have the same father, we're not family. So with that being said, my father's son, I don't have to accept anything I don't want to accept. So my father's son, he went out, procreated while working at a warehouse. All these women are going to leave you if you work at a warehouse. Your first wife, they're going to want better, and that's just it. So she left him. He started another life, another marriage while at a warehouse. Shout out to him. He's doing his thing on Spotify. Hopefully that turns up. But when it's all said and done, I can't lie to myself. That's not my brother. So I wish him the best. May God be with him. So my dad is trying to compare me to his other son. And it's like, why do I deserve this? Like, seriously, why do I deserve to be compared to your other son that you cheated to procreate with? Why do I deserve this? I don't deserve this. So at the end of the day, as far as my dad going to the military, and people don't really understand, a lot of guys that go to the military are actually sheep that become wolves. That's what makes the game of the sheep and the wolf so different, because most of these guys in the military, these sergeant majors, they're all sheep that needed Captain Crunch. They didn't have anything in the fridge. They're coming from poverty. Now, you got some soldiers still fight for their country, but it's rare that you see melanated men for money actually join the military. And I'm going to say this again. Shout out to Monroe, Louisiana. My guy from high school, he had to join the military because it was either that or get hit with a felony. He has a son. So at the end of the day, he had to join the military just to make sure he didn't get hit with a felony. Shout out to the judge in Monroe. My man joined the military. He got PTSD. He told me he can't stop smoking weed because he saw a grenade almost go off. Now, my dad is so ignorant. I told my dad this story. He trying to downplay a grenade story. So my dad is just prideful. So my mom always told me pride would kill a man. So let my dad go where he needs to go in life. And as far as the funeral, I will pay for it, but I don't think I will show up. I wouldn't show up. If any man calls me GAY, we're done for life. I forgive him, but we're done for life. There's no coming back. And that's my story of how I blocked my dad. And that's just it. As far as Father's Day, I'll send him a text message, but I don't think we really need to speak. We don't need to talk ever again. It's not going to be safe for him, and it's not going to be safe for me. So if a situation or environment is not going to be safe, just stay away from it. Let it breathe.